Welcome to Replenish the Atmosphere of Discovery, where we discover the Master's plan for our lives. So today's session is on pressure, okay? Today's session is on pressure. So pressure is something that constrains you and twists you to its will, okay? Pressure uses intimidation, influence, and persuasion to make you its slave. So pressure is not only a force, it is also a feeling, right? So we all have come to face some form of external or internal pressure, right? If you live in this life, you have faced some type of external or internal pressure. So external pressures are the ones that come from the expectations and circumstances from outside people and events. Okay, that's external pressures. And then you have internal pressures, right, that are self-imposed from your own thoughts and your own expectations. Okay, so this is things that we often internalize, and we place these expectations upon ourselves. Okay, so in order to apply pressure, in order to apply pressure, there needs to be a point of contact, right? So that point could be a thought, something you heard, something you saw, something you felt, which means that it could come from your mind, it could come from your will, your community, your body. There are many points of contact, right? But pressure must be allowed to maintain that contact with you mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, okay? Which means that you have to give it permission, okay? In order for there to be pressure, in order for you to experience any type of pressure, it needs a point of contact, okay? Did it contact your ears? Was it something you saw? Was it something you felt? Was it the environment you were in? There needs to be a point of contact. So you have to agree or accept its proximity to you in order for it to create a point of access. You have to agree or accept pressure's proximity to you in order for it to create a point of access, okay? And pressure creates that contact point with you that can later evolve into stress, right? So it doesn't start off as something that's stressing you out. It's just a pressure point. It's a point of contact, right? So stress is the response it's your body's response to that continual pressure. That's what stress is, right? So before we ever get rid of stress, we must address the press, okay? What is pressing you? Before you can get rid of the stress, you must address the press, right? What is pressing into you? What is pressing onto you? What is forcing you to bend to its will? Okay. And so pressure often follows individuals who are confronted with unexpected or overwhelming situations, right? It can be consistent and relentless, which means that it is steady and it is aggressive, right? But in every circumstance, you can deconstruct the pressure to a manageable load. In every circumstance, every circumstance. So we often have these feelings of it's a total waste. I'm totally done. I cannot overcome this. I cannot undo this, right? That's not true. In every circumstance, you can deconstruct that pressure to a manageable load. Okay. Once that pressure becomes manageable, then you can see the point of contact and block it off. Once that pressure becomes manageable, you can find that point of contact and block it off. Okay, this means you begin to set boundaries for yourself and others once you see that point of contact, right? Because you cannot allow the pressure to get too close to where it sneaks up next to you while you are distracted, right? So you set up boundaries around this favorite point of contact. If pressure's favorite point of contact is your ears, You got to start setting some boundaries. If it's what you see, you got to start setting some boundaries. If this constant pressure, if the pressure's point of its favorite contact is your quote unquote best friend, you got to start setting some boundaries, right? If it's your thoughts, if pressure's favorite point of contact is your thoughts, what limits are you setting for your thoughts? Do you allow your thoughts to just travel wherever they want to go? Or do you stop them from entering certain places, certain spaces? What about your feelings? Are you limiting the amount of time you spend feeling a negative feeling? Or do you let your feeling dictate how long they're going to stay around? Right? Not only are you setting these limits for yourself, okay, but what about other people? Some people can be that point of contact, right? So you have to check it. Are you limiting the amount of time that you give to people that have a negative influence on your life? Or are they always around? Are you given a reason for them to stay around? And we have plenty. You will always have a reason. That's something you're gonna hear me repeat. There is always a reason to not be healthy. There's always a reason to not do things that benefit you, right? You will always have a reason to not do the right thing. It's going to always be there. So if you're looking for something that's never going to give you a reason, that's not going to happen. Okay. Are you limiting the amount of time that you give people that have a negative influence in your life? Are you limiting the amount of time that you allow people to dump their junk in your ear and into your life? That's a point of contact. Okay. Are you setting boundaries for how you are spoken to and dealt with among your siblings, your parents, your children, your boss, your friends? Where is the point of contact for these pressures you are facing? Where's the point of contact? And so pressure looks for a mindset to partner with. Okay. What is the mindset of those who often submit to pressure? And I'm talking about pressures from people, pressures from life, pressures from emotions. What type of mindset does pressure like to partner with, right? Victims. Pressure loves to partner with victims, right? Especially those that are not only victims, but now they have a victim mentality. Pressure likes to partner with know-it-alls. Prideful people, you can't tell them nothing, right? Pressure likes to partner with those who lack identity, that lack authority. They don't know who they are, right? Pressure likes to partner with negative overthinkers because we have overthinkers, but it can be a positive, you know. But those that repeatedly negative thoughts all the time. Pressure likes to partner with people pleasers. That's a big one. Because with all the people in the world, somebody's not going to like what you say. Somebody's not going to like what you're doing. So that creates pressure because you have this false expectation of pleasing everybody. That's never going to happen. Okay. Hypersensitive people. Pressure looks to partner with those people, right? And even hypersensitive spiritually. So your pastors, your prophetic people, people that are in leadership, pressure. Okay. Pressure also likes to partner with those with mental or emotional deficiencies, right? That's why we have to process our feelings and our thoughts and manage our behaviors. Okay. And pressure also likes to partner with those that are experiencing transitions in their lives. Okay. So how you see other people respond to certain pressures may not be how you respond, right? Because everybody don't react the same way to the exact same situation. You can be the exact same situation, 12 different people and have 12 different experiences, right? So what may be a push for you, it may not be a push for other people. So you cannot raise your expectations beyond your capacity. This is what causes pressure. Okay. Stay in your lane. We create those internal pressures because we want to do it like so and so, right? But if it wasn't shown or spoken to you by God or a reputable messenger of God, bring that expectation down to your level, to your capacity. Okay. We all cannot do or handle the exact same situation the same way. So siblings that grow up in the same household, they respond differently, right? People living in the same community for over 50 years, they respond differently to different pressures. So when our expectations supersede our capacity, we come in contact with pressure. When our expectations supersede our capacity, we come in contact with pressure. So you can have high expectations for yourself, but those high expectations cannot supersede your capacity to reach them. Okay? So you are responsible for what you allow to press you. Okay? Expectations that are beyond our capacity create excessive demands in our lives and cause stress. Okay. Pressure not only forces you to make rash decisions and diminish your ability to manage them properly, but it also can have an aspect of fear and terror that will overtake you. The terror or the fear can be real or imagined, right? But it will control you by making you think, feel, or act in certain ways, right? That's what pressure does. It bends you to make you do something, right? Pressure with terror and fear is a dangerous combination because it will exploit your mind and emotions and create this place of dark imaginations that become a reality to you, and you try to either live out this imagination, right, or run from it, and you will run right into psychosis, right? Fear and terror with pressure is a dangerous combination. Okay. Pressure also causes you to lose strength. Like it takes a lot when you are under pressure, more than what you would normally exert, right? So no matter how strong you once were in any area, if you keep allowing yourself to be pressured, it will weaken that area. Okay. If you are consistently coming under pressure, then you have not renewed your strength to resist contact. Okay. You must come to a place where you can resist the contact. Don't agree to the contact. Guard those contact points, right? You can assess a situation and determine whether or not it's beyond your capacity, right? We have that ability. We have these minds that God created to do wonderful things, right? And so a lot of us are under pressure because we fail to use one word. You're under pressure because you fail to say no, right? Make that a complete sentence with a period at the end, right? Not a comma, not a question mark. No is not a curse word. And if you can't say no to somebody, then you shouldn't be talking to them, right? Because that means you have zero boundaries and people that use you can smell it, right? It is a scent on you that says that they have permission to press you. All it takes is for them to have a similar situation as you and you're hooked, right? You feel like you got to do it. You got to take on this problem, right? But you don't realize that they attached to an emotional memory of yours, and you think you're saying yes to them, but you're saying yes to yourself when no one helped you. Does that make sense? You're being a current you for yesterday's you. And people can sniff out people like that, right? When you put a comma after your no, they begin to press, right? Put a period if you're not their solution. Okay, put a period after that no if you are not their solution. And you're not their solution if it's beyond your capacity. Don't let people put expectations on you that are beyond your capacity. You have to learn how to manage your emotional memory because people will exploit it, right? So there are people that you have the capacity to help, right? So those are not the people I'm telling you to say no to. I'm telling you to say no to the people that is beyond your capacity to help because that causes pressure on you. And it doesn't matter what relation the person is to you. Okay. We allow people that we feel are closer to us, maybe in proximity, maybe by blood. We allow them, they get an excuse to apply more pressure, right? And then you have people dying um very young, before 70, right? Which is what we're promised here on earth, because of pressure from the people that claim that they love them, but they are the very ones that are that is applying the pressure. Okay. So all the burdens, all the problems and extra weight that we allow to come upon us, there is a way to release it. Okay. It doesn't matter how deep you are. You are always one decision away from relief. Don't get into the headspace that this is how it always has to be. That's not true. Or I'm never going to be able to survive this. I'm never going to be able to get on top of this. No, you are always one decision away from relief. Okay. Pressure will also test your faith. Okay. So there's sometimes that God will permit that contact to happen to produce a greater measure of resistance and endurance, which increases your faith. Okay. Not that he caused it, right? Because it's our own decision to be in a place to accept that pressure, right? I'm saying that sometimes God don't interfere so quickly because most of us learn by going through. We got to get some knots on our head. We got to get some lashes, right? We don't listen when we are instructed the first time. So sometimes that force needs to be applied. If you are under pressure, hear me when I say this. If you are under any kind of pressure, something is breaking or about to break. And you don't get to determine what that something is that's going to break. It doesn't have a limit. It doesn't have an area code. It doesn't have a county. You don't get to determine what breaks. Okay. Pressure is forceful. It pushes, it presses. It's not stagnant. Okay. It's always pushing into something, and it will push until that something gives. Right? If you are under pressure, something is breaking or it's broken, and you don't get to determine what it breaks. It breaks relationships, it breaks your health, it breaks your finances, it breaks your community, it breaks your mind, right? Because your community can create pressure, right? Who and what you are influenced by can push you into places that you have no business being. And when I say push you into places, I mean push you into places mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, and even spiritually. Pressure can push you into places that you have no business being in. It can push you into other realms of thought and ways of being that are not beneficial to your purpose, right? It distracts you by causing you to conform to somebody that is so far from what God created, to the point that you are not even recognized as an individual, right? You just become a part of this robotic survival clique, right? Everybody's doing the same thing, right? You just start surviving off the next trend. You don't have any personal goals because your goals are distributed by the most popular, the most wealthy, and the most attractive community, right? You don't have your own identity because it's been issued to you by society. You are not truly living. You are simply existing until the spirit of your mind runs out of fight. Okay. So you have often agreed to allow pressure to take a loan out on your mind, giving you migraines, to take a loan out on your feelings, your mood, your blood pressure, your heart rate, your decision making, your money, your peace. And not only does pressure take all of that, right? It takes it with interest, meaning that some of the stuff that it takes cannot be replaced or reversed. Pressure can cause irreversible damage to your body, to your bank account, to your relationships, to your future, right? It alters the direction of your future. And so sometimes pressure in your mind can be this invisible prison. You're just in this invisible prison of thoughts, right? And you've locked yourself inside and you've stopped even looking for a light to get out. And so what happens is we allow our expectations to become pressures. And let me give you an example. So for a man, there's an expectation to provide and protect, right? It should not become a pressure. Men, it is an expectation for you to provide and protect. It should not become a pressure. And men must understand that they are not God. You only provide and protect at a certain measure that is under God. Okay. And some of you have attached God's level of protection and provision to yourselves, and it's created stress, and something in you or around you is breaking or already broken. Women, there is a level of insight and nurture, right, that we provide. It should not become pressure. And we have to be careful that we are not the ones creating this pressure on the opposite sex. Okay. They have the expectation according to their capacity. We have the expectation as women according to our capacity, right? It should not become pressure. Okay. We as women, we create human life. Yes, we don't control it. And we don't have to fix everybody. Women, we do a lot to bring a life into this world. We don't control it and we can't fix it. That's where a lot of your pressure is coming from. You can nurture without trying to control the outcome. And we do it with children. We do it with people that we adopt as children, right? But people still make their own choices. And when they go against you, right, we take it personal. But our job was to bring the life into the world, raise them, nurture them, and they make their own decisions. Okay. That's God's place. Okay. So we have to get off his level, men and women, get off of God's capacity and get on our own level. Do not raise your expectation for what you were created to do higher than our creator. Does that make sense to you all? So today, pressure needs to break its contact. Okay. I want you to get a piece of paper, get some way to make notes in your phone. Some of you might need a whole notebook. Okay. Write down every internal and external pressure, all of them that you can think of. Okay. And leave some spaces in between because you're also going to write the point of contact. Okay. So the point of contact can be your thoughts. It can be your environment. It can be a certain person. It can be what you're watching or something you've seen. Okay. Something you've heard. It could be your feelings. That could be the point of contact. So you're going to write down all of your internal, which is self-imposed. These are your own expectations. Okay. But you know if it exceeds your capacity because now it's pressure. It's causing pressure, right? Your internal and external pressures, leave some space because after you write those pressures, you're going to write all of them, all of their point of contact, and you'll probably see that it's similar. Like pressure has a favorite point of contact with you. Okay. And then after you write that point of contact, you're going to set the boundaries for you first and then other people. Okay. You're going to set those boundaries, set those limits for you. Where are you going to let your thoughts go? Where is the place that you will not, no longer allow your thoughts to go? Put a time limit on your negative feelings. Okay. And if you choose not to do the work, then stop complaining. Okay. Because at that point, you're using people, you're using pity to fuel and enable your lack of accountability. And people have their own lives to live, they have their own battles to fight. They don't need yours too. Okay, we don't need to be adding to other people because we don't want to be accountable to do the work that it takes to break those points of contact, to break that pressure, right? We want to just pass it along. That's not right. That's not right, and it's not fair. And so the kinds of pressure that we need to break or regulate by bringing them down to a manageable expectation is peer pressure. Like there's people around you that pressure you to do things you don't want to do. Parental pressure. Some people may have parents that is, putting these pressures on you that is beyond your capacity. And there's a difference between beyond your capacity and you being lazy. You know what those differences are. We're all adults, so we don't have to point that out, right? Familial pressures. There's pressures your family put on you, right? That is beyond your capacity. Okay. Social pressures, pressures at work, right? So you have these unreasonable expectations and these differences, okay, that creates these pressures. Lack of compromise, lack of communication creates pressure, lack of values. Everybody in your community, everybody in your circle, you need to know their values. They need to know yours. So they know how to defend you. But some people in our community, they're not going to defend us, right? They're right along with the people that's causing the pressure. Okay. So I hope that today, you've made a list, at least started a list or wrote down what you need to figure out, okay? Because it's time out. It has to break. We have to break that point of contact, okay? We have to stop giving pressure access to us, okay? In order for there to be pressure, there has to be a point of contact, okay? And it can come from your mind, it can come from your will, it can come from just something generational, from your community, from your body, right? We have pressures in our body that causes our body not to function properly. What is the point of contact? Most of the time is this, what we putting in our mouth, right? Most of the time it's lack of exercise, lack of adequate sleep. Okay. You have to agree or accept pressure's proximity to you in order for it to create a point of access. You have to agree to it. So you have to put yourself in the place for it to make contact. Okay. Break the contact. Find out what pressure's favorite contact point is. Put some boundaries up, set some limits, guard it, right? Whatever that point is, begin to guard it. You have to put something in place. You can't just say, I'm gonna set boundaries and don't set boundaries. Saying it does nothing. We have to start doing it so we can eliminate these pressures, be healthier in our mind, be healthier in our bodies and our spirits, right? And so that way we can function in this life from a place of peace and not from a place where we're always responding to something. We're always responding to what has happened versus preventing it from happening. Okay, so we want to operate from that place from today forward. Please share it with everybody because if we start doing this, managing this, finding out where these pressures are coming from, it won't be so many depressed and angry and anxious people in the world. The people around you will begin to make sound decisions. They won't behave rashly, right? They will think and direct their thoughts and direct their feelings, right? Which will control how they behave, okay? Which will control how you behave, right? When you begin to manage your thoughts and your feelings, it controls how you act, okay? So did you all truly understand? It's imperative that we understand that you ate it. I don't want you to eat it and spit it out. I want you to eat it and digest it. So you don't have pressure in your life. It's a choice, right? There's some pressures that were passed on, right? It's not really you can't really say it's somebody's fault because what people don't know they can't do, right? So sometimes what our parents did, um, we just automatically feel we have to do it. And for example, when my husband and I got together, my mom, she just made everything happen. We don't know how it happened. We don't know how we got fed every day. We don't know how she was able to, do all of these things. It just happened, right? And so we are people, and I think me and all my sisters might have this issue. We are people that just take care of it. Just take care of it. When I got with my husband, he was like, "What are you doing taking out trash? What are you doing carrying the groceries?" And I'm like, "What you mean?" I was offended by it, right? But as I like submitted to that, it's like I feel a relief. Like it's a relief to have someone that relieves these pressures that you don't even know that you have, right? And so to see him in the grocery store parking lot, he's manhandling all the bags and I just got my purse. You know what I mean? It's like, thank you, God. And sometimes we reject those people, right? We reject those people. And so don't reject people that are relieving pressure. Sometimes we don't realize that it's a pressure until that person comes along. Okay. And so find them, find the content. I'm the digger. You hear me? I am the digger. Okay. We're going to find what is troubling you and we're going to pluck it out. I don't care if it's spiritually, financially, emotionally, mentally. It doesn't matter what it is. We're going to dig. That's what we do on Replenish. We discover the master's plan, the way we are supposed to live according to God, not according to society, not according to anybody else. We're going to live this life according to God. I don't want y'all to go to sleep without writing this stuff down. Make a plan. Make a plan. And God allows his ministering angels to assist you, right? Once you write the vision, write the purpose, write the thing you want to accomplish, God would allow his ministering angels to assist you. They have something to go off of. They have a plan to follow, right? So you're not doing this on your own. And when I say ministering angels, they also go out to the people that are supposed to relieve the pressure, right? Once you write it down, they're going out to the people that's supposed to relieve the things that you wrote down, and they're ministering and sending messages to them to now it is time to come into their life, right? So you're not doing this alone, okay? And so you're just one decision away from relief. So I pray that you all are blessed. I will see you all next Friday at 3 o'clock. Later.